So you don't feel like drawing right now. That's the problem. What do you do when you don't feel like drawing? That's going to happen all the time. First of all, it's you don't have to want to draw all the time in order to be an artist or to train to be a professional artist. You don't need to have this overwhelming passion for it. What you need is to construct habits throughout the day that allow you to draw consistently. So your goal might be something like 6 hours a day. What you're aiming for is the maximum amount of hours you can do without burning out. So however many hours you can put in while still creating quality work and not burning out. Because it doesn't really matter if you do 3 days of 6 hours in a row if then you don't draw for a week because you're so burned out from those 3 days. What you want to do is figure out the amount that you can consistently do. So whether that's, if you're starting out, if you're a beginner, you might just do 5 minutes a day. And with habits, what you want to do is you want to attach them to existing habits. So say you do 5 minutes, say I drink my cup of coffee in the morning, and then I do 5 minutes of sketching. It's much harder to build a habit when you're just having it float in the middle of your day, like, I'll just do 5 minutes a day, but you don't know when you're going to do that. So the more specific you can be with where and when you're going to do your habit and for how long, the better. And this is something Bobby Chiu talks about, is creating your schedule the night before. So instead of just waking up in the morning and being like, what am I going to do today? I don't know, right? And you're just, I'll draw when I feel like it. How's that going to work out? Because, well, you've got work, and then after work you're tired, so you don't want to draw after work. So you watch some dumb TV show that doesn't move you forward in your life at all, and the next day you regret it. You never felt like drawing at all, so you didn't draw. What you want to do is create pockets of time. And if you write it down, you'll be able to check it off, which makes it much more easy to accomplish. So what I like to do is I keep it in my pocket all the time. I've got my schedule here. And I've got my 3 most important tasks. I've got yoga in the morning, and then running in the afternoon. And then I've got watching an instructional video for art. And normally I'd have going to jiu-jitsu on this list. That's a really important habit for me too, is going to jiu-jitsu or boxing or some other type of martial arts training, because it gets me out of the house and gets me to socialize. So basically on the schedule, I like to have some sort of exercise. I like to have my work, which is dog walking. So I put my dogs on here. Basically, I start with the stuff that's the must-dos. So I'll start with work. That's the most important thing, is to go to work. The second most important thing is exercise. And then I'll fit in... And I say exercise because that easily gets shoved to the side, whereas I know I'm going to do art. So then after I block in exercise and work, then I'll do, okay, so where am I going to draw in that? How many hours a day do I want to draw? Do I want to draw 3 hours? Okay, if so, I can do 2 hours before work and 1 hour after work. And I know when I'm going to do that, and I know where I'm going to do it. And it's also important to know why you're going to do it, but that'll be a different video. So really, the checklist starts out with really simple stuff. It starts out with the same stuff every day. I have on this, very simple. Because I've struggled with depression and anxiety, which makes getting out of bed really hard sometimes, or it used to, not so much anymore. What you want to do first of all is you want to have your alarm clock away from the bed, so you have to get out of bed to turn it off. You also want to have 2 alarm clocks, so if the first one doesn't go off, the second one will, so you have a backup. And keep them away from your bed. Also, get the phone out of the room. Get any sort of screens out of your room. Don't look at them an hour before bed. That's what I do, at least, and that helps with the sleep. So basically, power down at night. Make your schedule the night before. Set your alarms. Put the alarms away from the bed. I can do a whole video on sleep. Matthew Walker is a great person to look at for sleep hygiene. So I wake up at 6:30. I wake up at the same time every day. Maybe sometimes on Sunday, if I'm really tired, I'll sleep in. But most of the time, I like getting up at 6:30 because I always know what time in the day it is because I can feel it in my body. Whereas if I get up at different times and I get up when I feel like it, I don't really know what time of the day it is. It throws off my whole rhythm. So I like getting up at the same time every day. I don't advise getting up at 5 a.m. Do what works for you. I've tried getting up at 5 a.m. and I was so tired that it tanked my productivity. And so anytime that I gained, like I gained an hour and a half of time, but the time that I was spending working was much less productive, and then all of a sudden you're procrastinating and you're eating sugar and simple carbohydrates like I'm craving bread and sugar because I'm so tired, and so I'm getting fatter and I'm more tired, I'm less productive even though I technically gained time. It just sacrificing sleep is the last thing you want to do. You want to look for more efficient ways to be more efficient during the day. Like, do you want to sacrifice an hour of sleep, or do you want to cut out an hour of stupid YouTube videos that you're watching every day that don't help you? Right? Some YouTube videos are great, that are helpful, that move you forward, but it's up to for you to decide what's actually moving you forward and what's holding you back and wasting your time. That's your conscience and your lived experience will be your guide in that. So anyway, I go through the list, wake up at 6:30, make bed, 2 cups of water, so I rehydrate because you lose water when you sleep because you breathe it out as water vapor, or as vapor, whatever, I don't know, as gas. So then you want to dress, right? And then I always have one thing that I say, so I put that in quotations. Right now it's embrace the suck, which is just, it's going to be hard, you're not going to feel like it, do it anyway. That's what embrace the suck means, is just, yeah, it's going to suck. Embrace it. Do it. It's okay. You don't have to want to do it. And then I just do some simple exercises. Anyway, I'm getting carried away with that. But basically what I want to say is it doesn't matter if you don't want to do it. It matters that you do it. And the more you do it, you'll start to feel like doing it. You'll feel like doing it after you want to do it. It's like exercise. You're not going to feel like exercising before you exercise, because why would you? Exercise is hard. It's difficult. And it's a myth. People think like motivation, like the people who are super ripped and who are in shape, they're motivated. One YouTuber, Ramsey Dewey, who's a mixed martial arts coach, he says that motivation is just belief. Motivation is belief that what you're doing is going to get you the results that you want. So it really doesn't matter if you feel like drawing. It matters if you believe that drawing for this amount of time will get you the results that you want. So you have to, it's sort of an act of faith. But what you want to do is you want to come up with a really clear goal of, okay, when I have done this amount of drawing for the day, I'm done. That's good. So you could set up 5 minutes to start with, and then you can gradually ramp it up to, say, an hour. And then you could do, okay, now I can work in units of an hour. So I'm going to do 1 hour here, I'm going to do 1 hour there, I'm going to do 1 hour here, and now all of a sudden you've added up to 3 hours, and that's pretty good. And then once you're comfortable with 3 hours, it's just like when you add weight, right, at the gym. You gradually, so you get comfortable lifting your current weight, and then you add a little bit more. So we're going to go from 3 hours to 4 hours, and then maybe, you do 6 hours, and 6 hours is great, right? You're feeling good at 6, and that's solid. And then you try to do 7, and at 7's like, okay, all right, I'm getting burned out every day. I can't do 7. So you take it back to 6, and then maybe you say, well, okay, I'm using one of those hours of 6 in order to do, say, warm up and just doodle. And maybe after, if you found that you can only work for 6 hours and that's your max, then you go in and you say, okay, how can I be more efficient within that 6 hours? Could I take an hour of doodling and replace it with an hour of figure drawing? So you constantly find ways to tighten it up and ratchet up your training and create like a very contained, tight unit. And none of this do you have to feel like doing. You want to treat it like a job. You want to treat it like, okay, I create my schedule. I have my schedule. I've got my boxes to check, and I'm just going to go through like a job. And when you think of it that way, it's a lot easier to do because you're not relying on passion. You're not relying on, I feel like it. That's what amateurs do, guys. That's what amateurs do. Is amateurs draw when they feel like it. Professionals draw because that's what they do. So I think if we're trying to be professional artists, we need to treat it like a job and show up to work whether we feel like it or not. And some days you're gonna wanna. I would, if you need to take a day off of drawing and you're really burned out, I would plan it because you're gonna maybe crash sooner or later, and you're just gonna. But it's a lot better to plan a day off of drawing than to just not do it because you don't feel like it. I'm having this problem today actually because I scheduled myself for 5 hours of drawing, and just because I've been doing a lot of drawing recently, I'm just feeling like I think I'm gonna get to 3 hours today is what it's gonna end up being. And I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with that every day. It's like I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. I'm just gonna maybe plan and reorganize my life so that maybe I'm building in more of a rest on Wednesday. If I find that consistently I only want to draw for 3 hours on Wednesday, then I might plan for that. It's really just about following your conscience and saying, okay, could I be drawing more? How much drawing do I want to plan? You want to say, could I be challenging myself more? And I think that's going to get you where you want to go. I sort of do these videos for myself as well as you guys because I'm training to be an artist, and it's looking good. I'm feeling good about it. It's the progress is there. I think if I have a few more years, a couple more years, maybe 3 more years, I'll be able to make a living at this. It's just a matter of just grinding away and just putting in the hours. But that's all. It's just you don't have to feel like drawing. You plan it out. You make your goals very clear and specific, and then you do them, and then you're done. And then afterwards, you're gonna feel good. But you're not gonna feel like it before. You might, but that's happy. That's good. That's luck. But you don't need that. You don't need to feel like it. You just do it, just like exercise. Anyway, love to you guys all, and have a good day. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.